Walter. Clap, 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 clap. Yo, it's Draped in Gold, your one-stop shop for excellent action across the ring and across the pond. NXT and NXT UK content. Little boys here live with you, streaming live. It's 1:30 here locally, but we're being seen all over the interwebs globally, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. But as always, I can't break these down alone because literally I've tried doing it alone and it's not nearly as good. Please welcome my co-host. You can find him on the Mac Mania podcast. He's on the Masked Man show this week, championship wrestling from Hollywood, and he's actually a producer. Dead Body available on that festival circuit right now. Give it up for Your Majesty, Jack Farmer. How's it going, sir?
Flobo boys, always good to be here representing the soccer kit for the old black and gold brand. How far down is this logo?
Yeah, it's pretty Infield Town. What up?
They have the logo down at the very bottom of the shirt, I think. But yeah, my new official representing this team, Enfield Town. That's my new team.
You have to look. Enfield Town.
Rocking the kit. I got to give credit where credit's due. Flobo, this is a wonderful holiday gift from you. I appreciate it. I love it. I've been waiting for a chance to wear it. And I figured this is going to be a special episode. This is going to be a fun one. I should wear it today.
Oh, how'd you know? Special episode because my Amazon grocery order came early. No, I'm kidding. We are not alone. We're being joined by a very, very special guest. You may see him all over the internet. This guy has written books. This guy has crafted audio dramas, so he knows about character and story. Not to mention, he has his thumbprints all over the soap world and the world of the Hardys. Please welcome the CEO of JLJ Media, James Lott Junior.
It's me. I'm here. I almost came. I have a gold hat and I have a gold outfit. I almost wore because you're draped in gold, but I didn't do it. But I'm wearing in honor of England. I'm wearing the 6 wives of Henry VIII.
I thought the divorced beheaded died, divorced beheaded survived. That one? That guy?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, from six. Yes.
Well,
that guy's marital life is like a great reality TV show. It sounds like.
Yes. I would love to write it. But thank you guys. I'm happy to be here.
James is not usually in the wrestling world, but you couldn't tell. We sat there and watched both NXT and NXT UK in the same week after watching SmackDown on one of his other shows on his network. So it's going to have a lot of fun. And you guys can ask him questions too because he is fresh meat.
I am.
Let's get things started. NXT UK had a main event with a little bit of a bittersweet sentimental value. The ring general Walter is saying goodbye to the red and black brand. I still seems weird to say that, but Nathan Frazier gets the nod, and this main event match is the kind of classic Walter I was missing at New Year's Evil. Just being honest, James Lott Junior, let me start with you. Thoughts about the match? Thoughts about Walter? Thoughts about Nathan Frazier? Thoughts about NXT UK wholesale?
NXT UK seemed a little rougher than NXT. I was like, we were in for something here. From the opening, I was like, it's a little rougher. I like rough. So I was ready. I was ready to do this.
You already made it sexual. Not even 5 minutes in. Yeah, I like it rough. That's
what I do. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm a dirty old man.
Fair. So am I.
I'm single. So, yeah. But I want to tell you.
Just throwing that out there.
Just throwing it out there. Anybody, I'm single. Ready. Okay.
Anyone in the chat, let us know if you.
I'll have you vetted first before we go. Anyway, so this match, because they worked it up, and we were like, this is gonna be. I'm seeing somebody's last match for NXT UK. That's the Walter guy. So he's a biggin. I'm like, He is tall, giant, like you said, like an oak tree.
Really big hands.
Oh yeah, totally big hands. I like that. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, but then get this pretty boy, Nathan Frazier. I was like, he's pretty. A little haircut, like from the 90s, whatever. I was like, okay. But then I was like, how are we going to get him? So overall, I will say that Nathan should be proud of himself. He should be great. He could walk away with his hand. That was a match, folks. I mean, it was close so many times. And going into it, I was thinking, I'm curious how this is going to end because it's Walter's last match. This new guy who's trying to become like whatever, he's become like the new face. Or can you take him down? I was very interested.
Did the right guy win, in your opinion, you think? Were you surprised at the result?
Actually, I kind of was. I thought it may be Nathan, and he takes him down, and then one day Walter comes back in and like tries to. I mean, I thought they go ahead, but I thought, okay, they decided to let him go out on a good note. He won. He won. He won. It was a good. I mean, it was a good fight. I mean, they both. I mean, flips and kicks and chest slaps, and I mean, everybody was working it out.
Hell yeah. Jack, I actually have the same question for you. You know, we talk about leaving a brand, losing leaves talent from the days of the bunkhouse brawl era. You kind of leave on your back, but Walter left with his head held high. You know what I'm saying? Nathan Frazier looked pretty good in defeat. Thoughts about the match, Jack, and did the right guy prevail in this particular situation?
We started the show talking about fresh meat, and I think fresh meat just reminds me of Nathan Frazier's chest right now after those chops he was getting from those giant hands of Walter. We talked about those giant hands. I wouldn't want to high five Walter. He's so dangerous with those things.
The calluses alone.
So as you ask, you know, look, Nathan Frazier, he put up a hell of a fight. He did a great job. The powerbomb reversals were incredible to see, but did the right guy win? Is it even a question? Of course the right guy won. Walter is unbeatable. I don't think there could have been another option here. Walter getting the win, just like Walter always does. It was good to see him get one more before heading stateside.
All right, now that Walters ran away, Nathan Frazier got the main event. Where does he go from here? What do you want to see Nate Frazier do in 2022?
I think Nathan Frazier's still... I know it was a good outing, and it says a lot that Walter wanted him as his last match. And it says a lot that he put up such a fight. But at the end of the day, this is all about wins and losses. And even though this was a great showing, you got to start adding up some dubs before you can start challenging for titles. If I'm Nathan Frazier, if I'm his manager, I'm lining up a couple of people that you could get some quick wins on to get on the positive side with the win-loss column, and then make a strong push for a title.
Josh Morrell, don't answer your phone. Shout out to Dylan Matthews in the chat. And what up, Nathan? What's going on? Nathan had no chance. Hey, there's always a chance at NXT UK.
No chance in hell.
I actually disagree with Jack Farmer. I think he should go.
He'll turn.
I think
agreeing with Jack is encouraged here, so continue.
Yeah, I know. I just think that he should go for the big guys. Keep going for the big ones and keep and earning those stripes in there, hanging in on it. Because Nathan's quick. He's like they always say, the biggest one can fall. And he made Homeboy fall several times, and it came close. Very many times it came close. He almost won. But Nathan's a quick one. All those flips he was doing, I don't know what you call them, but I was very impressed.
Flips are the technical term, I believe.
Absolutely.
I don't watch back in 30 years, whatever. So I don't know what the terms are.
I'm just like surprised he wore pants. I'm still on the fact he wore pants. Like, is this the size of the
You don't wear pants.
To James's point, by the way, you'll notice Walter always struggles with the smaller, faster guys. A-Kid gave him a lot of heartache in the past as well. So maybe that's if you're someone trying to take Walter down, that's the ticket. You find someone who's smaller. Maybe if they did have a rematch, that maybe Nathan Frazier would have a better outing, but come on, this is the ring general. This is Walter. This is the man that slaps his way through everybody. He was winning no matter what.
I just want to say a last note on this one, that when he had Nathan in the corner, it was basically putting his boot to his face. I'm like, geez, Walter, why? Damn, man.
I would have answered somebody in the chat room already. I don't know who you are, DCW, but I'll say something. Okay, there's several ways to skin a cat. We shouldn't skin cats. That's the whole saying. But there's several ways to win. And sometimes the bigger ones do fall. The smaller ones do make it. Like I say, if you're fast and quick and can do all kinds of things, you never can have a career that way.
Are you cutting promos?
Just so we hear this right, James Lott Junior, a man who has admitted to skinning cats, wants to see Nathan Frazier fight Walter again. What does that tell you?
Jack is the best cat ever president. My opponent was a skin cats. Can he lead our country?
But you shouldn't skin cats. I'm just saying it's an old saying.
We gotta move on. In the women's division, a little bit of heartbreak for moi, as two of my favorites, Amel and Stevie Turner, go head to head. And even though the writing's been on the wall for Stevie Turner for a long, long time, Lobito had hope, but that hope was dashed by the French Hope, the new Hope. Amel with a modified new finisher, the Hope Breaker, comes and prevails, but not before ticking off Ginny in the process. Jack Farmer, I'm gonna start with you. We all love Amel. You got featured last week on the show with your tweet because you're all famous now. She gets to win here now. What's that mean for her and Ginny on the horizon?
There was so much on the line for Amel in this matchup because Amel is getting featured. She's getting these video packages. She has the world's attention, and getting the attention is one thing, but following through and getting the win is the hard part. And today she did that against Turner, who, as you say, that's no small feat. That's a big deal getting a win there. But it looks like already yet another challenger has arrived in Ginny. Ginny, by the way, just a treat on commentary. Her and Nigel were amazing. You know, I know Andy Shepard, he's a friend of the show, but it just seems so much more stylish with Ginny on commentary.
Shout out to Andy Shepard. Without him, we wouldn't be the award-winning Draped in Gold. Sorry for that in there. James, what about this? Amel, the French Hope, you mentioned her on Twitter. You're a fan of her in the ring. Go on.
Okay, so I would switch teams for her. I would go straight for her. Totally.
I don't know who you do now.
She's hot. When she came out, I was like, wow, I'm actually attracted to her. Beautiful, great little outfit stuff up here. I was working it out. I was like, okay, I'm ready. I said, I'm ready for her to do it. So first of all, I was already attracted. So that's number one. And secondly, I was like, I felt like they were evenly matched on some level. Like they both were, her and Stevie were getting them in. I wrote down, they were going back and forth. It was it was very dramatic. Lots of screaming and shouting, lots of yelling. I noticed that in that match. But I thought they were pretty. I mean, Amel should have won, of course. I mean, now I'm a new fan, so I'm going to tweet at her one day too or something and see if she answers me back.
Well, shout out to Amel, the French Hope, very active on social media. She probably do that. She like understands what's happening.
Be a new BFF.
I mean, if you get to be a new BFF, can you get Jack and the tickets to NXT UK? We've been trying for like 2 years, so make sure work that contact for us.
We want an American announce booth so that everyone here in America watching can understand what's going on.
We'll ship it.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it. You know me, I make things happen. You never know.
Can you translate? That's a flip, y'all. No, okay. Moving on. Well, so I talked about Stevie Turner because she's actually one of my favorites in the roster. I think she's lost her last 3 in a row. And I know wins and losses aren't counted as much as, say, AEW, but it does matter in NXT UK. It looks like Stevie is already in the back burner, Jack, with Ginny dealing with Amel. If you're Stevie Turner's manager, agent, booker, what would you do? How would you get Stevie back on track?
Right now, I think Stevie Turner is like that car that's stuck in mud and the tire's spinning and it's spinning. And when it does that, the harder you hit the gas, the more your wheels are just going to spin. I think she needs to stop, take a step back, give it a few weeks, and then come back after she's had a chance to maybe heal up, maybe reassess her strategy, do something different. Because you're right, she has everything, but it's like she keeps going out there over and over and over again and trying to erase the losses instead of stopping, having a little patience, taking a breather, and then coming back and maybe, again, picking up a few wins that are easy so she can get the positive momentum. I think that's her biggest problem right now.
I have a question for Jack. So, Jack, if she takes a break and starts thinking about, will she get in her head too much? If taking a break may get in her head and maybe she will be worse.
As a guy who's in my head all the time, that could happen.
It absolutely could happen, but if you're getting loss after loss after loss, what's the worst that can happen? Maybe she should be in her head. Maybe she should be thinking, am I good enough? Maybe she needs that time to sort herself out because you lose too many in a row, something's wrong, and she needs to figure out what it is. Certainly not the outfit because she's got a cool... I know Ginny made fun of her cosplay, but I like her style. She just needs to start finding a way to translate that into wins.
Yeah.
I'll go with that, Jack. Okay, I'll go with that.
It's one of those things with NXT UK, the roster is so tight and there's only an hour that if you lose too many in a row, it's very quick for you not to be in the conversation. You know, so it's really important as one of the lone fans of Stevie Turner asking her to go, please do it.
Was Ginny not great on commentary, though?
She was okay, all right, Jack. She was all right.
Give her some flowers. No. Just bringing the Nightbridge style to the commentary booth, the way she was able to really talk about everything that mattered in the ring. I thought that was a really well done job.
You know, who would do that? Here's the deal about Ginny. Don't get me wrong. I wish more wrestlers or more superstars were on commentaries with Andy Shepard because they work with, especially Pretty Deadly as well. Ginny does that. I think she's even better without Joseph Connors, even though you don't want to see anyone lose their job or lose their partnership or lose their role. But here's a problem I have with Ginny. She was in the back for months. And she got mad because of a promo package, maybe because people were talking about Amel and not Ginny. And that's her fault because she wasn't wrestling.
Look, when you dress the way Ginny dresses, you should have all the attention. She said it herself. She is the picture. She's the one you take the photo of. She has a right to be angry. James, am I wrong?
No, here's the thing. It was very soap opera to me. I loved it. I loved the shade. I love the shade involved.
I know
And she
you
was
do.
shading, and she was, I loved it. And she was shading Andy, and she was like, "How do you work with this clown?" I loved all of that. That part spoke to me more than anything else, of course, because that's my world. I live in shade. It's always cooler in shade. But I think Jack is. I'm going this time. I'll go with Jack on this one. Yes, I actually agree with him on this. So you're not wrong. I think you're not wrong at all. So
All right, thanks for coming out, James. See you next week. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
It's
no,
fine.
I feel like
that's fine. I'm just a little upset about everything. So in our top of the show today, we had ourselves our second match in the NXT Tag Team Tournament. Well, the last week we saw Ready and Forward, Ashley Smith and Oliver Carter advance. This time was the other side of the bracket. Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff against D Familia with Charlie Dempsey in ringside. And I know Jack is shaking his head because Gallus got involved. And well, it seems that Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff advances. I'm okay with this, baby. What's up, Jack?
I think it's unfortunate that you have a tag team match with some of the best wrestlers on the planet, and I'm talking about Familia, getting screwed out of a win here because Gallus can't seem to figure out where the locker room is, and they start rolling around in the crowd and out to the ringside area. Where's the security? Where's everyone keeping things in line? A team was robbed of a shot that they should have had today because a team that wasn't supposed to be out there got involved, namely Gallus.
Hey, look, man, the Familia are not good people to begin with, and the call was final. James, thoughts about the tag team match?
okay. So I wasn't impressed with Die Familia, how they're trying to say it. I was not impressed with that.
You tell him.
I wasn't. But I'll tell you, Dave Mastiff. I would have meet him in that corner because he is huge.
Hell yeah.
Love the beard.
The bummer.
Oh, he's something else. Jack Stars, I was hot for him. He was hot.
Okay, yeah. He has the abs now. He got a short abs.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I meet him in a dark corner. But these are some big boys, first of all. So I think they're supposed to win. I mean, they were the ones they're big. I mean, yes, there were many times when the Die Familia came back and they had some moments there, but no. And the thing is, it was really funny. Dave Mastiff and them, they really worked together. And even
Yes.
also, I'll give points to Die Familia too. They really did work as a tag team. I mean, I saw them. I said the taggers went in. You do this over here, this over here. It really did seem like it worked. It was a great match. I mean, I was worn out afterwards. I was completely worn out. And I mean, this one part, I wrote this down. When Dave Mastiff comes down to land on one of them, I forgot which one it was. I was like, oh God. I thought roadkill was going to happen. I was scared. I was scared for him. I was like, you earned your money in this ring. If you're going to let some big man like that fall over you, that's a little crazy. But I really did. I mean, it was close a couple of times, but I think the right matchup did win. I mean, they all ran that ring and outside the ring did all that stuff, but I think they really did. It was the right people.
So you hit the nail on the head. I'm with you. The cohesion of Stars and Mastiff, they've been tag team a lot longer. Definitely shows. But that is the first time we saw them together on NXT UK. They have a new theme package, but it didn't hit you. I feel like that should be something you'd be like, oh, this cool character, but it didn't really touch you. Any reason why you think? Is there something that doesn't really like hit for you there?
They're not memorable to me. I would say all the other. I mean, I've just watched 3 hours of wrestling the first time in like 30 years.
My man.
And I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know how you guys. And I guys do this every week, but I told Flobo, Jack, and after the first one, I was like, I want to go fight people. I want to run down the street and fight people. I was so amped up after these matches. I don't know how you guys do this every week. I know it's like the daily office for you guys, but I was like, I just want to fight somebody. I'm ready.
Yeah,
that's why Flobo and I fight all the time on this show.
We have podcasts you fight on. That's how much you want to fight.
I mean, but all the wrestlers to me stood out. Even the ones I didn't care for or like big fans of, they all stood out to me. This tag team of Teoman and Raja, they didn't stand out to me. They were just like they look like regular guys actually I'd see at a club or something with the little goatees or whatever, the hair with the whatever. And it just didn't stand out to me. Where at least Mastiff and Stars, they stand out. Their look stands out, and so it didn't really grab me. I think they need better packaging.
Oh, using insider terms. Okay.
So if Teoman was built like a Pixar character, then you'd be behind them. But because they're built like regular athletes, you're like, I don't care.
The advocate.
Actually, Jack, I can answer Jack Farmer on this one. Actually, no, because when we talk about this NXT, there's some guys who look like regular guys. They stood out to me.
Okay. Who did it for you? I'm just curious. For who stuck out to you in NXT UK? That was regular. That was a regular size person.
I'm saying on the other end.
Oh, we'll get to that. Okay, we'll get to that.
So there are regular guys on that did stand out to me.
So that means I'm not sure if it's next week or the week after. That's not really clear. But Ashley Smith and Oliver Carter will take on Jack Stars and Dave Massive in the finals for a chance to face Mustache Mountain. James, you know I'm a big fan of Ashton and Oliver. I've been promoting him all week to you. Who would you got between those four men? Jack Stars, Dave Massive, or Always Ready and Forward?
Ooh. Out of the four of them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. You know how much I love the other two. Okay, let's see. Okay.
Yeah, for different reasons, I bet.
How much do you love them, James? We'll see.
I know, Jack. It's so crazy. I'm gonna have to go with Massive and Stars.
Oh wow!
That's my prediction.
Heart's breaking.
So now I'm gonna have to watch it to see what happens.
Ow! Well,
yeah,
please don't follow you at James Lott Junior on all social media platforms.
I think they're gonna give a good fight. They're gonna give a good fight. I think it's gonna be a good match.
For sure.
I think Massive and Stars are gonna take it.
I know that character-wise, you want to have like an antagonist or a bad guy character versus a good guy character, but those four men, I think, are the most cohesive tag teams, except for Pretty Deadly, but their own story in NXT UK. So the fact they're in a match together, to me, it's a treat. Jack, what say you?
If I have to pick between them, I go with Ready and Forward. I think that they are a team that we talk about fluidity. They're the best tag team, fluidity team on all of NXT. And I think that their combination of size and speed works a little bit better than the combination of size and speed of Mastiff and Stars. And I also think that Ready and Forward have more experience together. And I also think that they're just ready. They seem primed. You know, certain teams, especially as we get into the playoffs in football, for instance, they just feel like they're peaking at the right time. And I feel like Ready and Forward is peaking at the right time.
Go Steelers.
The Steelers. I mean, it just gets you to the promised land and stop right before you get there. Okay, right. So we had a Thursday promo package, pretty much an answer to Dragunov's promo from last week. Jordan Devlin is saying that Dragunov fighting for his family is pathetic, but it's now official. 2 weeks from today, it's going to be a match for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. Jordan Devlin, the Irish Ace, against Unbazikba, Ilya Dragunov. James, this is the first time seeing this package between these two men. What do you feel about these two guys?
Soap opera. I was licensed to your soap opera. I love it. It's like I'm watching the production. It's like you guys really do production. You guys like you do it, but the NXT UK and NXT.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we try.
Great job, Jack. You did that. But no, it's just that seriously, as a person who doesn't know nothing and seeing these guys, they look mean, they look rough, whatever. I'm ready. But it's just kind of like the package and the whole thing. It's complete, like getting us geared up, getting us ready. They each have a story, and now we're gonna get in the ring. Everybody's worked up in a frenzy, and it'll be good, I think. But I love the production value. That's because I don't know anything else about them. But I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. I see it.
She's very, very, very cinematic, I guess.
Yes.
What say you, Jack?
Yeah, this was another good package. I say it all the time, but the NXT UK video package team really is second to none. And the one thing that they were missing this week is my tweets up there this time.
I was looking for you. I was like, oh, hell, not 3 times. Oh, hell.
You would never have heard the end of it if you saw my name up there again. Nope. But that said, this package really just reiterated what I've felt for a while, and that's that Jordan Devlin is destined to win this title. As much as it feels nice to talk about your family and how you fight for them, this is a combat sport. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter about your family. It matters about what you do in that ring, and Jordan Devlin's focused on that. You think about all the greatest fighters of all time. None of them talk about their family. They talk about winning matches. That's what Jordan Devlin's doing, and that's why Jordan Devlin's going to win the NXT UK Championship.
Jack Farmer says family's a liability. James, what do you think?
He's all screw family. Like that.
I mean, the holiday season was pretty close by. I can understand. After that, you're like,
Jack has no heart. He's just like screw family.
I'll see you in May. I'm out. I can't do it.
Right. I want to say hi to our friend Cedric. I know Cedric. Hi, Cedric.
Hey, what up, Cedric? We got next.
I disagree with Frank. What's that, Frank? What's your name? Jack. I disagree with you.
How dare you?
I know, like, whoever these names are. I think family is important. That's going to help fuel the fire to win.
Unless it's going to be a Fast and Furious, but it's fine.
Oh.
I
Oh
do.
yeah, if Dom is in this, then family always wins.
I do want Devlin to win, but the way it's been going, and I hate to pull back the curtain a bit, the way it goes has been going the past years. At the first attempt, there's no title change. The second attempt, there is a title change, and I got a feeling this may happen that way too. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Before we get on, we talked to NXT 2.0. Jack, we were talking about other companies and how they excel in long-term booking. I want your opinion about this A-Kid Noam Dar story. They had a package as well. I kind of forgot about the fact that A-Kid had cost Noam Dar the cup the first time, and now they're coming around full circle. Was this the kind of thing we want to see more of in other brands, or is this kind of thing that makes like NXT UK unique?
I think that people reminding us of matches in the past is always a good thing. I think it adds more stakes to it. It shows us that this isn't just happenstance that A-Kid is having a match with Noam Dar, but there is that story. There is that reason for them to fight. And for A-Kid, there's so much more to it than just winning the title. It's getting another one up on Noam Dar. Or Noam Dar, there's more to it for him. This kind of stuff matters to me. And I hate when we forget about these things that happened in the past. And I love it. I think everyone should be doing it.
Well, I, for one, am all about it. James, you talk about the soap opera aspect of NXT UK and the wrestling thing. Was it a perfect balance of action and storytelling that way? Was it a bit too much? Did you want more action? Did you want more of these stories? What was your opinion of this?
Well, I actually felt watching both NXT and NXT UK, NXT had more soapy elements and more. I feel like NXT UK was like right to the point. I was like, yeah, they had some packages and things going on, but I felt like it was just more. I guess it was grittier. It just felt grittier. It felt rougher. It just felt like here's a match. Here's a little backstory. Here's a match. It wasn't as showy as NXT to me. I'm just as somebody who's never watched either.
Yeah.
I just came across. I felt like NXT was much more show, much more like a concert, much more like a soap opera, much more like all of that. I mean, I was worn out. Like I was worn the F out after I watched NXT. NXT UK, I was like, I'm a little worn out, but not as bad. Like it was just here we go. Love it, got it. NXT UK was very easy to follow. Very easy to follow for somebody who just doesn't watch these things. So I don't know. I think the brand was actually a great balance, but I don't think it was too much of anything.
Hey, I always say if I get one person to watch NXT UK, I feel that much better about myself. Jack, before we move on to NXT 2.0, man, any other notes you have for NXT UK this week?
This was just another solid episode. I thought that I was really glad that Pretty Deadly went to Sid's office, gave him a good tongue wagging, a good finger wagging, and let him know that you can't just have people disrespecting a team like Pretty Deadly the way they did. And I'm glad that they got their way.
Yeah, they're gonna have a match with Sam. What's another Jack favorite? Sam Gradwell. They have the fake a partner is choosing. My money's on Saxon Huxley, but who's gonna know? Who knows?
Maybe, or I could take him out. You know what? Maybe I could team up with him. I'll be the partner. I'll be the mystery partner.
You would never. You would totally bail.
I mean, I wouldn't tag in the ring, but I would
fly me out to stand there, y'all. All right. NXT 2.0, the Tuesday night delight. A lot of things happened. A lot of things shifted since the fallout of New Year's Evil. And more importantly, is how the show started. New NXT champion, Bron Breakker, heads to the ring and has a whole new manifesto for the locker room. He's a fight champion. Jack and I have already talked about Bron Breakker, but I'm curious of how you feel about the man who was champion there, JLJ.
I'm all in. When he came out, I was like, who is that?
Yeah, you believe him?
Oh, I would beat him in a dark corner too. Oh, cheese and crackers.
Do you believe him as a fighter? Do you believe him as a wrestler? Do you believe him as a fighter?
I'm getting there.
I don't know, brother.
I'm getting there.
I'm
getting there. I'm just saying. My first impression was that I was like, yes, I'm in. Like the name, love the whole thing.
He loves the name, y'all.
You're a big boy. And he has short hair. I was like, oh, not the long, flowy hair all these wrestlers have. I was like, okay, so that's my first impressions. I did like a cute little goatee, worked out for me. I liked it. So I thought his opening was good. I thought it was really good. I was like, okay, I'm interested in seeing what he can do. That's my first impressions of him. What was the other question?
That's it. How'd you feel about Bron Breakker? Did you believe what he was talking about being a champ?
I'm in love, so it's fine, yeah.
Okay. So Jack, we were talking about this on phone text. Sorry, I had a vocabulary glitch. We know this on phone. We talked about this via text about Bron Breakker. Do you believe him when he has a microphone? Is it kind of a nostalgia act? Is he bringing something fresh? Do you like his promos? That kind of thing. Now he's a guy on top of the mountain.
You know, I want to start by something I didn't realize until James said it, but the short hair, the facial hair, the build. Bron Breakker and I are very similar in a lot of ways. So I think that I'm glad that was brought up.
James never said I'll take Jack Farmer ever.
I've never said that. I'm like, hold
on. So I've said for a while, Bron Breakker is the next big thing in WWE. He's going to be the next big star. He's going to be the guy main eventing WrestleManias. He's going to be the guy on posters. I don't know how old he is. He's probably like 12. I don't know. Everyone in NXT 2.0 is so young now, but he's a young guy. He is going to be the
24
of the company. 24. That's sickening.
24.
October 24th, 1997.
I could be his father.
Now you made it weird, but continue.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So he's going to be the guy that's on the cover of all the, I was going to say cover of magazines, but speaking of old, but he's going to be you're going to see his picture on the side of the WWE trucks. He's the guy, I think every time he's out there, he proves it. And, you know, to the point of what you were saying, the nostalgia act, I was asking because his family was a part of WWE. He sounds so much like Scott Steiner that I don't know if there's a little bit of a nostalgia of why I like him on the microphone. He doesn't wow you. He's not The Rock, but there's just like an energy to him. I've said, I always think of him as a coiled spring. He just seems like he's about to pop and blow up on everybody. So I think he's great. I think he's the future of the company. He's going to be around for another 20 years.
I think, Jack, what you meant to say was digital magazine cover. That's what you meant to say.
Yes.
Digital magazine cover.
I'm very young and cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's a person who just, like I said, don't know his history, don't know anything about him, or whatever. I think he has it. I feel like he has it.
Yeah. That's great. Because okay, on our sister show, Macmania, every Tuesdays where we get your podcast, I am pro Bron in that I think he's a star. Like Jack says, I do envision him on the production truck, which I think is a really gold standard, but it's true. It's a really good skin to be up there. My problem is his whole story was becoming champion, and he got the championship within 3 months of working. So what's next? So I got a little bit of a glimpse of that, of saying he's going to be a fighting champion, which I suggested, which means I'm a visionary. But Cedric has a question I want to pose to you guys. He goes, he's curious about the set of challengers for Bron during his run. Even though it looks like LA Knight, could be there. He's returning after the whole Grayson Waller, AJ Styles thing. Who really is around to take down Bron Breakker, you think there, Jack?
So this was something that I think the next challenger, if you're looking like who's next, it looks like it's Santos Escobar. It looks like he's going to be the next one. But I think the big money match, like Neeson says here in the chat, actually, I think what they're going to do probably WrestleMania weekend, I think it's going to be Carmelo Hayes versus Bron Breakker. I think Carmelo Hayes is going to try to get every singles title under his belt all at the same time against the guy, Bron Breakker, who seems to be breaking everyone who wants to do the same thing.
Well, we got to talk about Carmelo Hayes in just a minute, but we got to go to that main event real quick. AJ Styles actually had a match on NXT. If you guys don't know, he skipped NXT the first time around. I think it's theoretically his first match back against Grayson Waller and the Grayson Waller Effect. James Lott Jr., here's a class of styles and time period, no pun intended, of AJ being the present and Grayson Waller being the future. What was going through your mind during that main event?
It was good. I mean, it's number one. I was like, okay, I'm in. I was in it. I was like, I was worn out afterwards. I was like, okay. They both had. I hate to pun. I'm sorry, Flobo, but each had different styles.
I made the same pun. It's cool.
I know. I can't help it. It's like, I had to say it. I just had to say it. Grayson is so tall. I was like, okay. I was like, okay, he's tall. But I mean, I wrote this. That's what I wrote down when I was watching it.
Grayson Waller's built at 5'11". I think AJ Styles is 5'8".
Yeah, he seemed really tall to him. But there were a lot of I don't know. I don't know. He's not taller than 5'11".
No, actually, no. I take that back. Wikipedia has them both at 5'11".
Well, Grayson's taller than AJ.
Maybe with lifts.
Yeah. Okay, so I wrote down. I sound a little technical terms, but Grayson did a lot of headlocks. That was good. AJ has a lot of good foot stuff. He did a lot of foot things. It was so funny. I was laughing when he had it when Grayson had AJ's I think it was a shoe and AJ had Grayson's shoe. Grayson trying to crawl away. I was laughing at that. A lot of times, almost 3 counts. A lot of times. Also, AJ's lip was bleeding at one point. And I was like, they're really working it out. Like, this is like they're in there in it to win it.
It ain't ballet.
And he is bleeding to me. So I was like, okay, he's working it out. I thought it was a good match. For me, somebody again don't know either of them, but watching it entertained me. There was a lot of athleticism in it.
Yeah.
I really liked, and I was like, okay. To me, they gave me my money's worth.
So AJ's kind of like a veteran, about 20 years in the game, give or take, if not 20, close to 20, right? And Grayson's fairly newer. Does Grayson, in your opinion, James, does he have it like Bron has it, or do you not see it quite yet?
I think he's on his way maybe to having it. He stood out for me. He totally stood out for me. But I do think he has. I mean, I think he could have it. I think he could. Yeah, he's not there yet. I don't think he's there yet, but I think he could get there.
Well, Jack, let me talk to you. LA Knight's back. And, well, I mean, after the match here, a little bit of a tease of an alliance with AJ, but pretty much that's for the fans, I bet. But still, LA Knight's back. Grayson Waller is touching his jaw. What do you have? What do you got going next in your crystal ball?
Grayson Waller, is a stock you should buy. He's going to be such a star. He's so good at getting under people's skin and just being annoying and being that person you hate. But LA Knight, you're right. He's back. It's funny, as I was watching this episode, I was thinking to myself, where's LA Knight been? And I was thinking to myself, is he going to be in the Rumble? Is this his way of like exiting NXT and going to Raw or SmackDown? I don't know. But it's good to see him back. And I think it was such a smart move to have him come back and hug AJ. It's one of those things where when you see someone who's a Hall of Fame legend giving a hug to someone who's in NXT, you think that guy might be the next big guy, you know? And I think AJ being here really helps everyone involved. And I think it was a really, really smart thing that WWE has done to have them all pal around with each other. But LA Knight finally getting his hands back on Grayson Waller. This could be fun.
Kind of a deep cut here, but Dylan says Grayson beats LA Knight to the main roster. I would say yes, with the caveat. And that caveat is you got to find more ways to differentiate between him and Austin Theory, but that's just my opinion.
LA Knight had the tightest jeans on earth. I was like,
they were tight, bro. Like, bro,
you doing those jeans? I mean, I was watching, but I was just like, wow, okay, I don't know how you doing them.
Yeah, man, his poor Santa Monica's were tight. Moving
They're
on
painted
to the
on.
Yeah, they were. He was beating up Grayson. I was like, he's moving in them. I couldn't believe he was moving in them.
Yeah. All right, so the biggest social media moment of the night didn't come from the main event. Didn't came from the champion. At the most mentions of NXT this week was the debut of Wendy Chu. If you guys don't know Wendy, she's been in the background sleeping for the better part of a month. She came out with her pajamas in 6-man tag team match action. And it's one of the things in wrestling is pretty ridiculous. That I saw a comment saying this is WWE's answer to Orange Cassidy. But that aside, I want to get your opinion there first, JLJ. Can someone sleep through being awesome in the ring?
I laugh. I love her. I want her to be my BFF. I was like, Wendy, you are hilarious. And I mean, she did a few things here and there, and then she go back to sleep. I was laughing. To me, it was pure entertainment. All the ladies are like, this is like the Spice Girls fighting. I was like, all these ladies like different race and side, and everybody was like working together. And I was like, I literally just kind of watched the match. I was just more watching them all for their outfits. I was like, okay, ladies, you guys working it out. But I was like, I'm behind Wendy Chu. She's a star. I'm like, I'll take Wendy Chu somewhere. She is a star. I was totally in it.
Jack, same question for you, but before I do that, there was a little bit of rumblings on that same social media side of it that we kind of missed Tian Shaw. Was this the move that NXT had to do? Is it going to benefit them in the long term?
Did they have to? You didn't have to. I think Tian Shaw was still doing good things. And I think Boa is a good example of that. But this is the word I would use to describe Wendy Chu. She's adorable. How do you not like her? She's so lovable, and the way she's stretched. And by the way, I was thinking to myself as I was watching this, I don't know whose idea the whole thing was, but how smart. Could you imagine? I like to imagine she was backstage somewhere and she said, hey, I got an idea. What if for work, I wore pajamas and slept all the time? It's a great spot. And by the way, probably the most relatable character since everyone's working at home, because everyone's working in their pajamas these days. I thought this was great. I think she's fun, and I want to see what she does next. I think for all the other, with all due respect to everyone else in this match, all eyes were on Wendy for this one.
Yeah, I agree. It's all Wendy. Wendy's a star. I literally want to be her fan club president. I'm telling you.
Which is so funny because again, she was in the background for a month, and it was kind of like you should fight her, but then she became the star of this matchup. Yeah, I'm on board too. I was worried and concerned about it, like Festus. I think Dylan was saying that in the chat. I was looking for more of a Festus kind of character. Just hope because Festus was a character about 15 years ago, James, where the bell would ring and he would go into like a catatonic state. And then Billy Ray would be like all angry and mean, but this is a different thing. She chooses to sleep whenever she wants to, which is pretty cool. So I can't knock that.
Someone asked me in chat. I don't know. I never heard of black and gold. I don't know what that means.
Black
and yellow.
Black and yellow. It's kind of a colloquial term. NXT 2.0 launched in September, and so before then, it was a little bit more like NXT UK in that it was a bit darker, it was a bit more athletic based. That's usually called the black and gold era. That's kind of like old school fans are kind of like NXT's changed for the worst kind of a thing.
It's called black and gold because the logos and everything were black and gold, as opposed to now where they're very colorful and painted and things.
I got backgrounds, y'all.
I just want to say this, and it's last one. What's the next thing? There's a lot of gymnastics in this match. I loved it. So the ladies, they did a lot of things.
I like gymnastics too, but I love hitting people hard as we had ourselves a crowbar and a pole match, which was surprising to me because Tony D'Angelo promised me many ways to use a crowbar, and it happened. Jack Farmer. Well, this is interesting about the shift of 2.0 versus the OGs. Pete Dunne, is he done?
I'm
so proud of you, Flobo.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
I got a punning calendar for Christmas, and I don't know if you can see this here. I get puns every single day. So shout out to Evan Mack. It's so dumb.
I can't read it.
It says I used to compete in boomerang contests. I haven't competed in a number of years, but I bet it would come back to me. But continue.
I love it.
That's good. So I don't think Pete Dunne's lost because I don't think Pete Dunne's in a different spot than he was before the change. He's sort of been in this spot for a while where you're gonna get really tough, hard hitting, finger broken matches out of him, and that's what we still got. He didn't come out as the winner, but that's what we got. At the end of the day, though, like much like Wendy in the other match we talked about, today it's all about Tony D'Angelo. Come on. Yeah, how do you not like this guy? It's so funny. When he first debuted, we first heard about him, we were like thinking, oh my God, what a stereotype. What a silly, lazy stereotype. But then this guy comes out, and just how do you not want to be like, hey, paisans, come on. It's so good. I love Tony D'Angelo, and the world is his oyster.
James?
Where do I start? Where do I start? Are we talking about Pete or talking about Tony?
Talk about Tony D'Angelo, first of all, because I'll let him do this. Talk about Tony D'Angelo.
Okay, he's big and beefy. I love that.
He is.
Yes, and when the track, someone said earlier, I'd wear the tracksuit. I would totally wear it. If they could find it for me, I'd wear it. I'd wear it. Somebody buy it for me, I'll wear it. I was like, okay. But at first I was kind of like, okay, well, he's coming out. It was like a regular guy, like I was in Boston or somewhere, and I see an Italian back there in New York. I was like, oh, it was like one of the guys I've seen in the neighborhood. But I mean, it was like, and there's a little ponytail. Like, okay, little ponytail, which homeboy used against him later in the match. But I was like, okay, a little ponytail. But no, he was good. I mean, the whole thing, he was. I feel like there was, because he had a lot of stomping happen on him when later in it was kind of crazy. But I mean, he really did hold his own in there. That's my feeling about Tony. So do I mention Pete now or no?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure about him when he first walked out with the hair swept down to the side. Is that a leotard or something he's wearing? And then the fur thing, I was like, what am I watching? Like that? Now that to me was like old school. Remember, I'm from the 80s. That to me was like old school wrestling outfit. And I was like, he's all tall and sinewy. I was like, what am I about to watch? He looked so weird when he was walking down the entryway or whatever. I was like, okay. No, but he took all that stuff off and went to town. I mean, I went to town. This match, I found myself getting caught up about that crowbar. I was like, who's going to get it? And I mean, it was hilarious when Homeboy stood on Homeboy to get the crowbar and then get it. And when they were trying, I mean, it's like they're getting so close, they're getting so close, they're getting so close. I literally great. I mean, to me, it's great stunt, great everything. I mean, that part to me, I loved it.
Homeboy stepped on homeboy. I love it. That's what I love the post. In our North American title division, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, finally gelling to the point where I kind of look forward to their appearances, has overtly said he's the A champion. But James, let me ask you this. On the way out of the arena, he came face to face with To the Moon, Cameron Grimes. And the whole world's been wanting to know your opinion of Cameron Grimes as a wrestler in the NXT show. Thoughts about that, good sir?
So for me, for years, God, I've been getting this like, have you heard of Cameron? It's a Cameron Grimes in wrestling. I kept meaning to check him out to see just what the time. I just never did because I'm friends with the Cameron Grimes from the Why Not Young and the Restless show. And I've interviewed her 3 or 4 times in my life. I interviewed her twice last year, and she's aware of the Cameron Grimes. So when I didn't know he was gonna be on the show. So when he came out, like, there's Cameron Grimes. Like, I actually get to see him. He was nothing what I thought he'd look like at all. I mean, nothing. Nothing I thought he'd look like with the longish hair or whatever. And he had bravado. I like that he had bravado. You know how to talk smack. Again, I love shade. I talk smack. He was talking smack to was it Carmelo and them about the car and stuff like all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Again, soap opera. Sorry, Cameron Grimes was in soap opera in wrestling. He's somebody. He stands out to me. To me, he's an average-looking guy who stands out. Speaking of something that Jack Farmer was saying, to me, it was like he's not super big or super small or like there's no facial tattoo, nothing crazy on him. He's like a regular guy that I might know and see on the street. But actually, he works it out. I mean, he impressed me in the match. I mean, I really wasn't. I was against what? Who was he against? Damon Kemp.
Damon Kemp
was hot. Okay. I wasn't. At first, I was like, okay. Well, I was like, he may not do well, but then he really held his own and obviously won. So Cameron Grimes, if you're watching this, you have impressed me. I know I'm not nobody, but you've impressed me, and I would watch you again.
Shout out to Damon Kemp, the brother of Gable Stevenson, Olympic gold medalist Gable Stevenson. Bobby Stevenson, who goes by Damon Kemp in NXT. He had a losing effort against Cameron Grimes this week, which is pretty cool. Hey, I did be before my brother. I did be before my brother. The gold medalist. Yeah. So
interesting that they're using a different name for him instead of Stevenson, since Gable is part of WWE now.
It's weird because it looks so much alike, but I wouldn't. I mean, Solo Sikoa, not really. He's an Uso, but he's not an Uso. And everyone's chanting Uso, but he's not an Uso. And speaking of Solo Sikoa, my favorite storyline so far is Solo Sikoa against Boa. We're getting some of that supernatural stuff from the 80s. If you guys have watched some of the Samoan Dynasty, the Tian Sha remnants of Boa, I'm always like, #push Boa. Jack, let me start with you. On board, wait and see. Off board, where you stand.
I'm a Boa fan, so I like this. I like the way they're presenting it too, where they're both just hard-hitting dudes that want to beat the crap out of each other, and they're not going to back down. They're both big fellas. They're both swinging hard. They both showed well to me. I think this is exactly what you want from both these guys, which is, like I said, they're both big, hard-hitting dudes. They're not going to back down. I want to see who eventually wins, but I think both will come out looking stronger either way.
Hell yeah. Fireballs, everybody. James, thoughts about that?
I agree with Jack. They both were both solid. I wrote down solid, actually. They're both solid guys. Lots of chokeholds. I wrote that down also. And a little drama. Again, here's a little soap moment. A lot of drama with the ref counting to 10, and they kept going. And then they go off the thing and they're fighting the way. I thought that to me is old school wrestling that I remember growing up, where you just go off the rails and everything, just keep it continuing. That made me laugh a little bit. But no, I think it was Sikoa. Is how you pronounce it? Sikoa and Boa.
Sikoa, yeah.
They both were solid. I mean, I'm really curious to see actually kind of which one emerges, because I think either one could emerge over the other.
I'm gonna merge AF, bro. Going from my favorite storyline so far to my least favorite, I think we have closure here. Santos Escobar and Zion Quinn had a match for the services of Elektra Lopez, but it's not quite clear if it's romantic or business. But Elektra chose Escobar. The story seems to be over. Jack, I'm start with you first because we've been watching this for months. Was this a net positive for Zion Quinn? A net negative for Legado? Was it a waste of my time? What was it?
The whole rivalry felt a little bit like, what are we doing here? Why are these two guys are fighting over a girl, but it's the girl that wants them to fight and not them fighting because they want to fight for the girl. It was a weird setup. It felt clunky from the beginning. Like you said, this feels like it's over. If it is, then it kind of works out well because right now Santos Escobar got a big win, showed his dominance, got back control of Legado del Fantasma, but also Zion Quinn can now go off and has shown that he can face off against whole stables of people and he can be that big dude. And hopefully he just gets something a little more interesting than this. This felt like a half-baked idea the whole way through, to be honest.
Dylan Matthews says a waste of my time and negative for Zion, which I'm inclined to agree. But James, let me ask you this. I mean, you saw the tail end of this one. Did it make sense for you? Did you like it? Did you like the drama, the pathos, the combat?
Don't use big words I can't use. Pathos. No, it's funny.
Sorry.
To me, very soap opera. It was completely, but like
this
bad
one for sure.
But like bad soap. There's some storylines on soaps you're like, really?
The soap snob, the soap standards, bad soap.
Yes, that's right. I mean, I don't like everything on soaps. Shit. I mean, but no, this one felt. I agree with Jack and you guys. It just felt a little clunky. I was like, I didn't need her. Like, first of all, we didn't need you in this whole thing. They could have I don't know, just got my nerves. But that said, that's what I wrote down.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are hot, so I like them both. They're both hot. Zion had a statement necklace. You see that big bone thing?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's a necklace, bitches. That's what a necklace looks like. And then, but Santos with the whole Aztec thing in the beginning coming out, I was like, okay,
he's a beautiful man.
The Legado de Fantasma. Okay, let's speak some Espanol or whatever. I love it. I was like, okay, I'm kind of in it. I felt like they both were kind of evenly back and forth. I wrote down Zion came out swinging and punching hard. It's like just hard. It's like he's working the ring hard. He's just working hard. This guy's doing everything. And Zion's bigger than him. But then, of course, Santos comes back, and then he's going to win. He comes back. It was kind of going back and forth. And then Zion comes back. Then you have Electra off the thing, touching his chest. And I was like, ooh, okay, girl, what are you going to do there? And then she kicks him in the balls or whatever. And it's, I mean, that part was kind of bugged. But, of course, Santos wins. But it was a little clunky for me.
I would love to see, by the way, just if I can jump in here real quick, I would love to see James' reaction to like some of Santos Escobar's better entrances. Because you mentioned the Aztec background stuff. Mm-hmm. He, especially last year, the previous years, has some of the coolest entrances and he changes it all the time. But it's different. Like he'll wear different attires and things that kind of shout out different parts of lucha libre or Mexican culture in different ways. And they're very cool. One of these days, you got to find like some of Santos Escobar's best ring entrances.
I noticed that
very stylish. Yeah.
Well, I noticed that when I watched all these, the entrance does set the tone right on who the character is. Right, is that the whole point? Mm-hmm. Right, they come out. They kind of here's their thing, and here's what they do, and they come out, and many of them had really. Because I do want to mention this really quick. The entrance I liked, which was the most, which was on the other show, NXT show. I loved Walter, the silhouette thing, and also I just loved how it was like you're ready, like you're just like I am ready.
One of the best.
I was ready to rumble.
Yeah. No, his entrance is sick. I love Imperium and Walter and their whole thing with that music and just the black and white, and it's so. If you don't know who Walter is, you watch that, and I'm gonna get beat up. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like that.
In the interest of time, I got two more questions for you guys. And by the way, I think I know less about your type, James, because everyone's hot to you. It's just so weird.
Trust me, I like all kinds. Now, I like all kinds. So I'm over it.
So I have a little bit of a question here. We had to my knowledge, the first play-in match for the Dusty Cup Classic, the tag team tournament. Joe Gacy and Harlan, which they end up losing to the first time tag team of Idris Enofe and Malik Blade. Both men who have terrible win-loss records individually, but they tag for the first time. James, let me ask you this. Did you see a bit of cohesion with these two men, or did it seem thrown together as someone who hasn't seen them wrestle before?
Which
Idris Enofe and Malik Blade, the brothers.
I felt like they were thrown together.
Okay. I feel the same way too.
Yeah, I felt like I didn't. I mean, it's like, okay, so you put two black men together. Okay, that's fine.
But that happens.
Much more than that. Like, I didn't feel like much more than that for me as a person who's watched. I'm like, okay. I didn't feel like they worked well together. Now as I watched other tag teams, I'm seeing how better they worked together.
Absolutely.
This one, it was average.
Say for the same way. I didn't know if that was like me because I'm bitter and I'm like jaded or not. Jack, thoughts about the Idris Enofe Malik Blade pairing and the active playing match for the Dusty Cup Classic qualifying match.
It was their first time, as far as I know, working together, but I thought I liked it. I like both of them individually, so maybe I'm giving them they're getting a little bit of a bump from me because of that. But I like that they found a spot, and I'm shocked they won because I thought Joe Gacy and Harlan were primed for something. They seem like the ones that are going to get ready for something big. So I was actually very surprised that they didn't get the win and that Malik and Idris did. So I that surprise maybe also left me with a little bit of a better taste in my mouth, as opposed to just what I thought was going to be a ho-hum squashing by Gacy and Harlan. And so I left it thinking this was good. I liked it.
So while on that subject, my follow-up question for you guys today, starting with you, Jack. Joe Gacy is a character that unfairly gets compared to Kevin Owens, but I will say stands out as a very unique character. Is it unique enough for NXT 2.0, or will he always be suffering from comparisons to Bray Wyatt or to, as I mentioned, Kevin Owens? Does he work for you, Jack?
There's always going to be comparisons because it's low-hanging fruit, but I love this character. He's creepy. He's weird. He's also pushing very real buttons of saying things like safe space and whatnot. And so I think it also feels timely, but it's also creepy. The fact that he can say nothing wrong, but you still know he's not a good person, is a very great character trait to have. Because nothing he says is bad. Everything he says, he's completely congruent in, this is a safe place. We want to earn our spot into the tournament. We want to do all these things, but you still feel like, I hate this guy. Boo, he's terrible.
What a jerk.
It shows just how talented he is. I think he's great.
Yeah. JLJ. Joe Gacy. Thoughts?
Weird. I was like, ooh, he's weird. I was like, okay. I'm like, him and Harlan are so opposites of each other, looks-wise and stuff, and style. I was like, okay, again, reminded me of old school. Here's a character that just has the look that you already notice it before you come out when he comes out. Like, it's like, some of you got to hear open their mouth first and you know what the character is. With him, the look, everything, it was like he was working hard. He was out there working hard to show that look. That was just kind of like, okay, he's a weird. He's strange. I was like, yeah. And he scared the ref. Very, very funny. It was like trying to scare the ref when it was calling out, and I'll be scared too. I'm like, oh, crazy. I don't know much about him or anything, so I thought he stood out to me. Both of him and Harlan stood out to me. I think Joe Gacy is somebody out of the two, if done right, I guess, could be a star. I mean, I can see it going the other way too, where he's not. He doesn't become a star. I can see him going the way of becoming one. They do it right.
Interesting. If it's done right, if he's booked right, it'd be different.
Sometimes characters, they don't work. We know that in other fields, like sometimes they'll try really hard, but some choices will happen where they don't really gel with the audience. You think they work, they just don't. You know this in Marvel and all these other things. Some things just don't work, and sometimes everything lines up, and the characters just explode. Something good.
Yeah, I get you. I'm with you. I just hope he gets better clothes. It's about time we get out of here, man. Thanks for watching us live here.
It's over already? That's it?
We're an hour. We had an hour. Talked about wrestling for an hour. Okay. Every Thursday, man. It's award winning. Get in, get out, all that stuff. But before we do, it's our time for my favorite part of the show, is the MVP of NXT. James, I'm going to ask you something. Pick someone, a tag team, an individual in NXT or NXT UK that stuck out to you the most. And there are a lot of options this week.
Good word. Can I do a tie?
No.
I said I would allow it, but Jack doesn't. But he said no. So no.
Okay, so no. The answer is no. Okay, so I got to pick Bron Breakker.
Wow, no match. Just showed up, just set the pace, and that's what you need. Respect that. Always go for the champion. Jack?
This week, I go Wendy Chu. I think she stood out. She's the one that helped really find a place for herself. I think of everyone who was on TV. She's the one that made us all say, I want to see what's next. I want to see her come back. And that's really the name of the game. So I go with Wendy.
She was my tie.
I knew that. So that's why I threw that out there. I wanted you to feel better.
It's me. That's why you did that.
I mean, Wendy Chu had all the all the opportunity to fail this week and did not. And she thrived. So props to her. For me, it's got to be Walter, man. Walter can always give you a main event matchup. He don't miss. Even his matches that are kind of B pluses, he finds a way to make that up in the other one. Nathan Frazier looks like he can tussle with the main event picture after it. I mean, I understand it's his last match at NXT UK, but he did the whole brand a favor. Gotta give it to that. Yeah, thanks so much for watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. If you're on the audio version, drop us a 5-star rating. JLJ, been a pleasure, honor, and privilege for having you on the show. The chat wants you back. But before we do all that stuff, before we make that deal official, where can the world find you online, good sir?
Well, I want to thank your fans who watched this that actually said I'm doing, I guess I was decent. So thank you. I'd love to come back if Jack and them will have me.
We'll see.
My guys. Yeah.
Text him decide. You can find me where all James Lott Junior is sold at James Lott Junior on all social media platforms, including TikTok. And just a little plug, tomorrow night, it's live. Me, Flo Boyce, and Frank Moran talking to Marvel Universe on my channel, which is JLJ Media on YouTube. Follow.
I'm deathly afraid because Frank Moran is a genius about anything pop culture. I hope I don't get nerd checked. Jack Farmer, where do we find you online?
Yeah, you can find me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media. You can check me out on the Mac Mania show. New episode dropped yesterday, as well as the Masked Man show. I'm sitting in on that one, and that episode literally got released like within the past hour or two. So check that out as well, all on the Ringer Network.
So, Draped in Gold is available wherever you get your podcast. If you're listening right now, 5 stars is already great. And if you're kind of listening to one show, make sure to check out the other. NXT UK is my favorite show of wrestling, full stop, full period, whatever the phrase is. Please do it. Tell a friend about it. It's a show worth watching. But until next week, Jack Farmer, say the words.
Do your best and be yourself.